There it is. All right. I get requests already. What's being expressed here is what is undeniably so. Indubitably, what is already. I like that word, indubitably. So no matter what it always is what is. It could be laughter, what ising, crying, what ising, talking, what ising, but there's nothing separate from what is. It's always what is, no matter what it is. In this apparent vast appearance of this existence, although there's no one in existence, there's only the enigma of what is. An inexplicable essence that eludes recognition. Again, what's going to be expressed here, all the words does not matter. It will not capture what is, but it's also what is, this silly attempt to express this inexpressible what is what is ing. It's a dance of contradictions or seemingly opposites coalesce in harmonious illusion. This what isness, what ising. Seemingly a leap in perception may occur, offering a glimpse of an innate clarity that everything is already what is, no matter what it is. It's just a play of words, a play of seeming illusory meanings on trying to capture what cannot be captured because it's already what is. It does not require any recognition or even a perception of what is ising. So what is always what ising infinitely, yet it's still also not happening, seemingly simultaneously, although that cannot be captured as an idea. Try. It's this autonomous what ising that does not require any kind of comprehension, because what is always what is, no matter what it is. The simplicity, the directness, the immediacy of what is always showing up as what it is. So seeking is purposeless because there's no point in seeking what already is. But seeking also is what is. So that's also allowed. Nothing is excluded in what seems to be what is always as it is. In the seeming absence of individuality, because there's no individuals really, experience unfold as intricate illusions, compelling a reality. Like it's so compelling, it's so true. But what's really true is what's really false, because all of it is just what is. This seeming play of opposites, the seeming play of this or that, what is or what is not, is just what ising. What is what is, no matter what it is. And there's just this wowness, this boomness to everything that seems to appear, yet it's not appearing for anyone. It's not about grasping what is being said here. Energetically, what is in everything. What is appearing as eyes looking at eyes, but there's really no eyes. It's just what is seeing what is. There's not even seeing, it's just what ising. What is appearing as this words that seems to point that there's nothing outside of what is. There's no inside as well, but it's just what is. This is beginning to sound like like one of those poems that's written for kids book. It's so simple that it does not really require any kind of knowing. But knowing may appear as what is, and that's also allowed because nothing is excluded, since what is always what is, no matter what it is. And in the simplicity, it's often overlooking what is already, because there is a knowing of what it should be or what it shouldn't be. So there's this ideas that seems to arise out of something, but there's no something that it's coming from. There's no source because it's just all what is. So there's no going through and from, or no becoming, or not even appearing. because what is just what is appearing as whatever it is, but it's always what is already. And the vastness, the boundlessness of what seemingly seems to appear as no matter what it is clearly what is already, indubitably so. It does not require anything or anyone to get what is, because what is what is, no matter what is said or not said or silence. Yes, yet this silent what is can appear as this bombastic sound or this deafening silence that seems to trample everything that is thought of. It can appear as thoughts as well. It's just always what is listening, what is talking, what is whatever, but no one knows what this is. No one holds the key to what is. No one can gatekeep what is. No one can know what is. No one can hide what is. No one can grab what is because it's already what is. No matter what it is, no matter how, why, or whatever seems to arise on trying to obscure what is already clearly what is already. And it's just really, it's just really silly trying to figure out what is being said here, because there's no point in trying to figure out what this is, because no matter what appears is always what is, and it's pointless, but it can also appear as a pointer to something that's already clearly what is. It is just, it's just madness on trying to figure out or trying to know what this is. The seriousness comes out when it's just really innocently what it is, no matter what it is. And that's it. Basically, it's already what is. If you have any questions about what is, please go ahead. Someone suggested earlier, can you do some, do the introduction really, really simple? And I think that's as simple as it is. It's directly already what is, no matter what it is. The introductions are actually not even necessary, or even this talk is completely pointless because it is what it is, no matter what is said or not. But it's fun, this passionate explosion of what is when it's already what is. If you have any questions, you can raise your hand or not. That's completely all right. Cheers. Question: are questions really unnecessary since everything is already what is? You can say that, that it's just what is appearing as a question, trying to figure out what is, but the mental construct of what is just a deconstruct. It can be easily deconstructed as this. There's really no one asking the question. There's really no one answering the question. It's just all what is. It's just this elaborate play that seems to appear as duality, that appears as you and I, appears as a speaker here, but the speaker is completely irrelevant, even in this discussion. Um, because clearly what it is already what is, no matter what is said or not said. So why does it seem so difficult to understand what is being said here. Um, the difficulty seemingly is this trying to figure out what already is when there's really nothing to figure out. It's the absence of any ideas, the absence of any understanding. Um, although understanding and trying to figure out is already what is. Again, there's nothing that is not what is because it's already what seems to be, no matter what seems to appear. I don't understand. I'm a complete novice, but I'm somehow weirdly attracted to whatever this is. Welcome. um, in a nutshell, what's being expressed here is the there's seemingly a longing for some, answers of what this is, and what this is does not have any answers because it already is what it is. If you're brand new to non-duality, non-duality basically is just the expression that simply there's no two. So when there's no two, there's no separate individuals, there's no seeker, there's no speaker, there's no others, there's no time, there is no reality because it's already what is. Um, there's no one to awaken, there's no one to enlighten because everything is already what is. Again, these words that seems to appear is a talkative what is, although nothing can be said about what already is. But yeah, but thank you for the for coming to the meeting. Um, Mr. Ben, hello.
Mm. Hey, hey.
How are you doing?
Pretty good. Good to see you.
Good to see you
I can
too.
I can see though you're under the weather a bit. You can
Yeah.
you're putting on a brave face, man. Way braver than me.
It's so much fun. So why not? Say it's better than being in bed and um, eating Ricola.
So
And the voice is a bit more huskier, so it's kind of cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it sounds cool, but yeah. Um so over the last few days, I've been listening to just a number of different people speaking about this
Yeah.
in the you know pretty consistent. I mean, all in the same, what I would call, the kind of uncompromising
Yeah.
message, radical non-duality message. But it's striking. I'll just give you some examples. It's striking the inconsistencies, like gross inconsistencies, or what feel like gross inconsistencies to me. So I mean, I'm not shopping around. I mean, there's just a few people generally I listen to, but sometimes I'll tune in, or I've gotten close to a few people and have been able to listen to them as well. But the one of the reasons I do that, or the main reason I'm doing that, is because there's a deep resonance with certain speakers like yourself, and yet I feel there's some. It just feels like there's blockages too, like it's getting, I'm kind of taking it in, but then there's stucknesses. So
Yeah.
my hope is then listening to others frame it, that it might be unstuck. Now that could be complete delusion on my part, but let's leave that aside for just a moment.
Yeah.
So within this 3 day period,
Yeah.
uh this weekend period, or maybe Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, um I've heard, I'll say speakers, but there's, when I say speakers, there's some people who are, you know, they don't speak prolifically, kind of, or as out there as someone like you, but they're speaking in smaller groups, or just individually or whatever. But so I had a discussion yesterday with someone. I was drilling into something and about they seem to be saying, yeah, the me can come back, no problem. And I always remember something early on from something that Jim said years ago, Jim Newman, and an interviewer was saying, well, do you think the me could come back, once, after this, recognition for no one arises, that the me, that there's no me, there never was, it's a complete
Yeah.
illusion.
Yeah.
The interviewer was like, well, do you think it can come back? And Jim's response was, well, do you think Santa Claus can come back for
Yeah.
you? And I brought that up in the meeting yesterday of the discussion.
Yeah.
And the speaker's like, oh yeah, well, yeah, Santa Claus can come back. That can arise. And so that's number one. That was like one example. Wait a minute. It's so
That's
wildly different.
contradictory. Yeah.
Yeah, and then there were some other things like subtler things, but things that we talk about, like I a speaker talking about there just seems to be a lot of quiet and ease, and anything can arise, but there's been this deep emptying out, and have no idea where it's going or how empty, quote unquote, it will be, but it's in the speaker's words, it's kind of nice. Like, so as if there's, of course, my mind will say, oh, yeah, see, that's the benefit I'm looking at. Sure,
that's the thing. That's
sadness,
what I
sickness,
want.
anything can happen. Anything can happen, but it's all in a backdrop of okayness or whatever. So
Yeah.
then in a previous meeting this weekend, someone said, oh yeah, there's no pieces, maybe it's there, maybe it's not, it's the same thing, me, no me, it's just, life's just going to be the same, and it is the same. And part of, I kind of get that, but I also, the speaker who was talking about quote unquote peace, not selling peace in any way, but
Yeah. Yeah.
known for a long time, and I have a deep trust and resonance with this person. Like, I don't doubt what they're
Yeah.
saying, the experience is there. But so yeah, I mean, I could probably think of some others, but that's enough to just say, WTF with these, like speakers in the same, trying to talk about what is this, and not doing it in just different ways, but ways that go boom, they're just
Yeah.
completely
Oh,
contradictory.
totally. Yeah. Totally. Totally.
Help
Totally.
me.
Yeah. So I like Jim's, by the way, explanation
I love it.
because
That's one of my
I
favorite all-time
because
lines.
I've used that line too. It's like there does Santa ever come back, right? If once it's seen, it cannot really be unseen, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
And it's really hard, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what the other speakers are talking about, um, because it's like once the gig is up, you know what I'm saying? You can't go back and gig it back again, if you know what I'm trying to say. If it's seen, it's done. And it's just, but there is this seeming kind of like in the story, we'll talk about story, right? There's a seeming kind of like meaning or being that seems to appear. And there's glimpses. It's just a complex thing when it's just really, really simple. The simplicity of it, that there's simply no one. That's the recognition that there's simply no one. Um, there's always going to be a sense of separation, but it's not by someone. If you know what I'm getting at, there's always
Well,
going
that
to be,
that can you
yeah,
talk a little bit about
yeah,
when
yeah.
you say there's
So
always going to be a sense of separation,
yeah, so there's
but
not going to be a sense of me anymore, like a sense of self anymore. That's done. That's kind of like, ooh, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's kind of like once you figure out that Santa is not real, it's the same as seeing that the self is not real, then it's done. You know what I'm saying? It's just over. And I agree with Jim 100% with that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what the other speakers are saying or whatever, but if the story is still maintaining a story of attainment, you know what I'm saying? If someone got it, humbly, I can say that I didn't get it because there's no one here that got it. You know what I'm saying? But it's
yeah.
just it's very just whatever it is. Yeah.
But what you said, you said, well, are you saying that the clarity of seeing that there's no me, that even against that backdrop, there
Yeah.
can, you said there can be a sense of separation.
Oh, the sense of separation. I forgot about that. For example, if you are sitting on a chair, that's a sense of separation. If you're walking on the ground, that's a sense of separation. It's like there's still going to be a character that's moving through time and space, but there's no one behind it. If I shake your
Mm,
hand, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to feel someone's hand. If we high five, it's
mm,
just it's a sense of separation. But the seeming kind of like deconstruction is that there was this heaviness of a self that seems to have vanished completely. You know what I'm saying? It's like
yeah.
that that yearly kind of like looking for Santa Claus and being good boy or you know bad boy or whatever, or watching you know, like someone always watching you. That sense that there is a creator, the sense that there's a source, the sense that there's a self, the sense. So that is what is seemingly deconstructed. So some people would say that there was an openness that happened completely, and there was a contraction that was never that was there. You know what I'm saying? But that was never noticed before. The way that I explain it's like me carrying a backpack of rocks, and I'm like, where did that backpack go? So that's the sense of separation, sense of me. You know what I'm saying? That I'm talking about. But
Yeah.
everything is still ordinarily the same. You know, like I still drink Coke Zero. Um, I still taste sweetness because if there's no sense of separation, then you would not know what sweet or sour or spicy is. Everything would just be this blandness. There is this seemingly ordinariness in everything, but there's also this extraordinariness in also everything. So it's simultaneous. Like it can't be thought of. You know what I'm saying? And it's not something special. It's not something. It's actually the laws of specialness.
Right.
There's no one here that needs to be right anymore. Um, it's just what is. So I don't know what the other speakers are talking about. You know what I'm saying? But
There were
and
like a
then and
lot
I'm
of
go-
speakers,
yeah,
that I'm talking about. There, it's not one person,
yeah.
but yeah.
And again, speakers are going to have different characters, and they're going to come from it from the character's perspective, although there's no one behind it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's not an
Yeah.
understanding. So it's the opposite of that, actually. It's the unknowing of what seemed to be previously known as a self or as a me. It's like, for example, when you're a kid, you know that Santa is real. So you basically, it's an unknowing. It's almost like the opposite of that. It's the loss of the belief of reality.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great. I never looked at it like, I always looked at it like, yeah, you could never believe in Santa, but I forgot being a kid,
Oh
a
my
kid.
goodness. I remember that. I remember that. And that was my good boy act. That's that started because I have competition. I have five, four siblings, right? So I have to be the best, and I have to be the
Mhm.
example. And the heaviness of that of every year, kind of like waiting, and it's funny, right? Because it doesn't make sense. I was in the Philippines at that time. Imagine North Pole to the Philippines, but yet, you know what? In the Philippines, in my country, um, we celebrate Christmas starting in October. So
Yeah,
that's how heavy the influence is. And that's
right.
the same as the idea of the self, right? So when someone has a glimpse, and again, I don't want to gatekeep or put anyone down. It's just what is. It can easily be construed as my experience,
Right.
and then it gets tangled in ideas of what it is. So it becomes an opinion. It becomes their perception of it.
Yeah.
That's why I always say nothing that I will say will really make, it does not matter what I say.
I was struck by what in a lead in of what one of the people speaking yesterday in the meeting I was at was saying, like, there's uh yeah, there's she was talking about there's no need for the sense of me to fall away. And uh I that's where I'm most stuck. Like that feels like where I'm personally stuck. Like there's a deep resonance, and there's a certain amount that it just makes sense, and just a lot of trust in, yeah, in general in this, and yet there is still this seeking, and I'm kind of realizing it more. I feel the pain of it, but kind of in the discussion yesterday when I heard that person say this, I'm like, wow, that is exactly where I am. I'm waiting, like every day. I'm like, oh shit, I'm still here. Like as if
Yeah,
there's going to be
it's like a
this tangible event.
psychological, it's the same
Yeah,
thing as a psychological trauma of a little kid looking for Santa Claus, right? And
yeah,
it's like, oh shoot, I stole another candy bar, from the cookie jar and everything. So you're thinking, like, am I going to get, punished by this by Santa? I'm not going to get my skateboard. That's the same
yeah.
thing.
It's very
It's
tough to
it's
let
really
go of
held by
that
a
one.
belief, right? It's really held by a solid belief that there
Yeah,
is a me. So that's what I'm trying to say. It's so simple, right? Because it's just really a structure. And that structure could be belief, thoughts, or this seeming like when there's this heaviness in the body, then somebody will stamp it as that, oh, that's the me acting or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
What's tricky? Yeah, I don't want to take too much time, but what's tricky, at least for me, is that it I don't see that people, myself included, have any free will or choice. I mean, it does seem like things just are happening in and
Yeah.
of themselves,
Yeah.
and yet the me still feels real. Still feels real. Doesn't
According
feel.
to who
I
though?
don't feel like
According to
I
who
don't
though?
feel like I can do anything,
Yeah, yeah.
but I still feel real.
Well, it's kind of funny, right? When it gets stamped as real and everything, it's a belief. But if you look at what's behind that belief, what is there really? Is it just a thought? Is it just a construct? Is it just a perception? Is it a felt sense of what reality is?
Hmm.
If you delete all of that, what is it then? It's not separate from what is being longed for. So it's not about dropping something that's not there. It's not about dropping thoughts because what's a thought really? It's not even dropping a belief because that's just a belief again. You know what I'm saying? If it's seeing the cyclical patterning of what seems to appear as this longing and everything, so what is seeking what is when it's already what is.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm trying to simplify because I don't really want to talk about the me so much because there's no me. It just seems to reinforce that there is a me over and over again. Again, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess getting back to the the ease or relaxation, or the 50-pound bag of rocks that all of a sudden
Yeah.
you realize
Yeah.
wasn't there, or you imagine it there before, whatever, however you want to phrase it. That does seem like
It's
probably
always
the
not there though. It's not permanent, right? So, for example, let's just use that 50 round example, right? So, when I am caught up in my ideas that I need to get liberated, that rocks is heavy, 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 heavy. But when I'm out dancing and playing music, what rocks? But the moment I think about it, I'm like, that was a horrible DJ set last night. Then that bag of rocks again. But I did not notice that the bag of rocks was not there. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like with a
yeah,
kid. The kid, when they're playing, kid games in a park or whatever, they don't think about Santa. But when December comes, rolls around, they're like, oh my goodness, I better be nice to my brothers and sister because I want to get the present. So you're looking for, it's the constant need to be validated, a constant need to be, you know what I'm saying? Which is just what is as well. It's almost like a pattern, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, thanks. That was really,
All right.
really good.
We'll talk soon again. Uh,
Yeah, sounds good.
this can, this can easily be illuminated that there's nothing needed. That's basically it. So when there is again, there's nothing wrong or right about it. when there is a feeling that there's something needed from coming from a teacher or a speaker or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Then that's just basically gatekeeping again, which is who cares? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, well, there is no Santa, but you have to drop the Santa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you. How did you get this level of perception of what perception and what levels? This is the same as everything. There's no one special here that attained anything. Um, it's a loss actually of levels. It's the loss of my perception. It's just loss. So nothing was done to get here. Everything seemingly got undone. Seemingly is the key word. You should not be drinking tea instead. I'm sick of tea. I've been drinking tea, 4 teas a day with lemon. This is fun time for me, so I'm celebrating. But thank you. Thank you so much for your concern. You don't have to ask a question, as Selma. We can just chat. Do you want to have a chat? If you like, I can. Where is so? I can't seem to find you though.
I'm here.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Hi. Hello, Soma.
Hello.
Hello. I can't find you. Just a second.
Okay.
Just a second here. Um, oh, there you are.
You see me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
I have no idea what to say or what to
That's
ask or what's
perfect.
going
Actually,
on.
that's perfect. Um, well, I'll tell you a story, and maybe you can relate to this story. When
Okay.
I was desperately seeking for something that already is, I used to listen to speakers, that would speak about what is already, and I had no idea what they're talking about. And that sometimes it was very, because I came from that spiritual mindset. So this is kind of like post spirituality. It's this is almost like it's the end of the belief system, so to speak. And there's just freedom appearing as this. And so tell me your story.
I'm
Were you in spirituality, or are you in spirituality? What's going
yeah, but
on?
I am, but I'm pretty new to it, like since maybe January.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Um, I've been binge watching a lot,
Okay.
different
Okay.
people, and
Yeah.
I saw you being with Josh Putnam.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a
Yeah,
great guy. Yeah.
that's how I came across you.
Yeah.
But what you're doing is very, very different than what him and Angelo are doing. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just it's just clearly illuminating that nothing is needed. There's going to be different characters that would be speaking about this from an angle of trying to do something, and that's completely all right. There's nothing wrong or right about that, right? So, um, just a really silly, goofy character that likes to uh, talk, about nothing at all, and just be sincere that it's already the case, no matter what it is. It's already the case. And what is being longed for, sought for, is already. So what is seeking this is already this. So what's listening to this is it, basically. It's always it, no matter what it is, even if it's not. And this joyful approach, I guess, is just an expression of that as well.
So I kind of get it in a sense.
Yeah.
In an understanding kind of sense.
Yeah. And that's cool.
That this is all there is. This is it.
Yeah.
But I don't.
So this is just basically deconstructing that, right? It has nothing to do with understanding it, right? And it's not about, well, and it can appear as anything, so nothing is excluded, really, right? So it can appear as an understanding, but what is that's being talked about is that ineffable, that unfathomable, that is always clearly, always as it is, silently, unconditionally. And some people will call it peace, love, but it has nothing to do with anyone's understanding of what peace is or anyone's comprehension of what love is. So it defies logic. It defies definition. It cannot be named, yet it appears in all the names. And it's and so seemingly, people that seeming characters that are longing for wisdom or an awakening or something, or that kind of stuff. So this is basically a story. You know what I'm saying? Everything is a story that there's nothing needed. Because needing it is also just another, comprehension.
Well, I've seen some of your videos with individuals who have clearly gotten something,
we can also say that clearly did not get it. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no one to get it. So it's almost like in the absence of getting it, you get it. That there's no you to get it. But we're in the construct of words right now, in the construct of language. And languaging has a linearity to it, right? It's about getting something, or it's about finishing that sentence with a period or a question mark. But deconstructing all of that, the silence, the space, what is that never have moved.
I get it. I get it about the silence. I have a little bit of experience with that, not a lot.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, I keep going back to this idea that there's something to do, that I do something. And I also feel fatigued by it, I've only been in the spirituality end of things for, since January, but
wow.
But the seeking has always been there in the sense that I've been in therapy my whole life, and that kind of like self-help and fix myself kind of thing. And I'm like, I reached a point in January where I went, nothing.
But what you did not notice is just another spirituality is just another self-improvement thing. It's just another ride, right? So it's getting caught up again in another ride that is another roller coaster ride. And it's almost like going from one circus to another.
Yeah, I get that.
And then there's this longing to get out of the circus.
There's also this part, though, that kind of scares me, that of giving it up. But
who's giving it up?
Yeah, well, I don't ask me that question. I don't know. There's nobody here, apparently.
It's already naturally what it is, no matter what you think of it, right? Because thinking can seem to create this idea that, am I right or am I wrong? So it always positions a this or that. Am I doing this? Am I on the right path or am I not on the right path? But it has nothing to do with what you think. What's overlooked is that simple, unmoving clarity that seems to appear as words, but is devoid of words, meaning that it's just completely unobstructed, non-moving silence, ineffable, unfathomable peace that cannot be understood. And it's always been there permanently. You can't get rid of it. So the thing is that when there are merchants of what you cannot get rid of, there are merchants of selling something that it already is. When it's like selling ice to an Eskimo, right? It already is. So there's just this character here that sincerely expressing to you that there's no self to improve.
Yeah, I'm getting that impression.
Yeah, that there's no one that will get this. There's no one that has got it better. It's the flattening of all of those wishing for something, in a construct mentally, in a psychological seeming kind of like neurosis that there's something next, something will be better. And that's what propels the seeking, is it's propelled by an imaginary longing for something that already is.
Mm-hmm. I think I get hung up on like there's quite a lot of fear that comes with, I don't know, it seems nihilistic. Yeah.
That's just another idea of this, because when it's just another thought about this, right? But does this seem nihilistic? the idea that there's no choice, no one, no others, and everything, from an idea point of view, it might seem nihilistic, you know what I'm saying? But when there is boundless clarity that none of that really matters, then everything is just open. Everything is just this wow, and there's nothing really excluded. It's not getting rid of anger that might arise, or but whatever seems to arise, since there's no one trying to improve it or workshop it, saying anything that arises is just what is. So it's almost like that cyclical trying to get something, trying to change things, it's like the inner manipulator, when it's seen that it's just a manipulation of what this is into a reality that it wants to perceive. Then that neurosis of trying to get something better crashes and burns, and it sees everything as it is already. It's like, oh, it's always just been this way. It's no matter what I do or what I did not do, it's always the case. So it's almost like the end of the road, meaning that, it's like you stepped out of the circus briefly, and it's just being saying that there's nothing to get. Turn around. There's nothing further. The further is just your ideas of what it is. And then by turning around, although there's no one that turns around, you smell the roses. You see the sunlight. You enjoy the mornings. Maybe anger might come out and it's not filtered anymore. It's just what is. There's no guilt about anger that happens. It's just what is.
So the people that I see in your videos, what would you say that has happened to them?
It's a loss. It's a loss of the belief that there's a next, that there's something that will happen. It's almost like, it's kind of funny. It's almost like they get thrown off. It's accidental. Like, it's like accidental seeing that, oh, it's this already. It no matter what it is.
But you are doing something. It's not like you're not doing anything.
Oh, in the story, there's always going to be doing, right? But there's no one doing it. So it's just what's happening.
But I mean, in what you're doing here now with me, you are doing something. You're doing deconstruction.
You could also say that, yeah. You could also say that deconstruction, but it's the opposite of attaining something.
Well, I mean, if you think about, you know, existence as being or becoming,
Yeah.
this is change, becoming. I mean, with every becoming, there's also an unbecoming because it's constant change, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
You can say that too. Yeah. And again, it's nothing really that I'm saying that can make this clear or better and everything, because it already is. And it's actually what's not heard, meaning that if you look at some of those videos, they think that they heard something or something that I said, but it's actually nothing that I said.
it looks like they just got confused.
Sometimes too, yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people that I have people that usually it just becomes, it's almost like the end of the guru teacher thing, right? Like all of the speakers does not matter anymore. So I usually become friends with people that I do, one-on-ones with, and we just talk back and forth, and they'll say that, oh wow, Emerson, there's really no memory, or there's really no past, or there's really, it's almost like a purging of what was previously known.
Right. So I get it from that point of view.
Yeah.
Like, of course you want to have friends like that. They're
Yeah.
sort of in the same boat as you are, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just meeting what is for what it is. You know what I'm saying? So this is what is talking to what is already. There's just what is seems to be appearing. You know what I'm saying? It's just there is a trying to figure out what this is. But what this is the same as what that is.
Apparently.
Apparently, of course.
Well, I'm entertained anyways.
Good.
Thank you for all that you do. I'm not sure what it is, but thank you.
I have no idea what it is too. So we're in the same boat here.
All right. Well, I'll follow along.
Okay. Or not. That's okay too.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye. Hello. Did someone say hello? Oh, hi.
Yeah, hello.
Hello.
Hello. That was funny. That hello. No, the first one. Anyway, oh yeah. So the fellow Ben was talking about, listening to speakers and I don't name names, even though I only listen. There's nobody else that gives live me. Oh, there's like two other people that give live meetings that I might go to, not live like this, but yeah, I guess. I don't know. I can't explain it. Maybe it is live. I don't know. But what I'm trying to say is, so I never mention names. I don't say, Emerson. Because sometimes you just run something by the other speaker. I say,
Yeah.
I heard or whatever. Of course, I might have some asshole decide to type in the chat something about you. Why? I don't know. But
It is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. But so I'll just name the name. Like, Andreas always says it's complete whole. You say that too.
Mm-hmm.
Complete whole.
I like Andreas.
Yeah, I like him too. It's blindly itself.
That's beautiful too, yeah.
It's
yeah, blind to itself.
I just how would you say blindly itself?
That there's no separation, so it does not see anything separate.
Cool.
Yeah, it's just what is seeing what is already. I did say I had a couple
There's
of meetings
no separation
about blindness as well. Yeah, I don't know if I have up a lot of I've done a lot of these meetings, right? So I also have a meeting that this character likes changing things up. You know what I'm saying? Likes different words and everything.
Yeah.
But it's the same over and over again. if you've attended one meeting, you've attended all of them. It's basically illuminating that there's nothing needed because it's already complete. It's already whole or whatever. It's already what is.
Yeah, so it doesn't no separation, so it can't see itself. Yeah. Now,
so it's blind to the separateness. It's blind to meanings. It's blind to others. It's blind to whatever. But yet it comes as this story of a characters seemingly that would talk about this. And comparatively, you know what I'm saying, you can say that this person is saying that and everything. But what is universal, so to speak, with a lot of these speakers or teachers and everything, that it sees the obviousness of non-separateness. And it can be expressed in many different versions or ideas or even whatever seems to appear, right? And there's nothing wrong or right about that. There's just this openness to whatever everyone is saying. There's no one wrong, there's no one right. It's just what is. It's just this autonomous expression of something that cannot be expressed. But yet, you know, saying the only thing that seems to be of concern, although it's just a story as well, is when someone thinks that they've got it, and it's and it's expressed in a way
not
that
worried
they
about that.
got. Yeah. Then it becomes a throne of knowing, a pedestal of understanding. That I understand more, that there's a level that I understand more, or there's a knowing that is higher than yours. Those ones, you know, saying that kind of teaching, it's kind of like, you know, again, what's being expressed here is the unnecessariness of speakers like this speaker over and over again. It's already the case. But yet it's appearing that this is trying to speak about something that cannot really be fully expressed.
That's done.
So you can actually say, if you want to get to the story, right? It's the level of not knowing. It's the more that it's completely like, I have no idea.
I give up. Yeah.
You know, but what can be expressed is that there's no point in any of the ideas, right? It's just that.
Yeah, there's no point. But one of the things I had a problem with is like, that's why me is blind to itself.
Yeah, for
Me
example, if there's really no me, then it's blind to, you know, if there's really no separation, then it would be blind because it's whole, right? So there's no other. So it does not require even a seeing. If you look at it, it's blindness.
But I feel like me is blind because
that's just another idea, right? That's just another idea.
It's this unknowable. So it's blind.
It is, yeah. It's never been separate, right? So it does not require a perception, a seeing, a knowing, an understanding. Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. Okay. All right. Thank you. I can't wait to play that back and put it in my notebook.
Oh no. If that's what's happening, that's cool too.
I can't help it. Thanks.
Thank you. Are you internal? Yes, I am actually. I do. I'm planning one in December, but it's funny because there's a group here that meets. But instead of me talking, we just go out and eat. We just celebrate each other's birthdays, and seemingly, because there's nothing needed anymore. The characters that I hang out with in Toronto, they initially came as seekers, but they're all friends now. We just we a lot of eating, birthdays are celebrated. So yeah, there's just pure equality for everyone, right? There's no one above or below. And but yeah, I'll do another meeting because people have been asking. But be prepared to have your appetite. After the meetings, it just becomes very ordinary. It's just a lot of yeah. So it's basically the end of the guru teacher era with what's being talked about here. Yeah. The sincerity that there's really nothing needed. It's already the case. It's already the case. It's already the case. How about meditation? Do you suggest that there should be no meditation? I'm not suggesting anything. Meditation or no meditation is the same. It's already the case. So if meditation is happening, so what? If no meditation is happening, so what? Catherine. Hi, Catherine. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Happy on birthday. Just wanted to say hello.
Oh, hello. Is it your birthday?
No.
Okay.
On birthday.
On birthday.
It's just celebrating.
Yay.
Yeah. I haven't got anything to say. No questions.
Beautiful, Catherine. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's good to see
just
you.
Lovely to see you.
Oh, so lovely to see you too. Yeah. All right. Fergal. Oh, hi, Fergal. Hello.
Hi, Emerson. Long time.
How are you? Long time. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, good. I'm good. How are you keeping?
Really good. Really good. Just a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
So much fun sometimes, It's just what it is. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you've been a little sick, but you seem okay.
Yeah. I'm okay. Just the voice, just the cough that comes, and it's just what it is. Yeah.
Drink more alcohol, you'll be fine.
Yeah, I've been doing manuka honey, and some lots of tea, lots of lemon, lots of tea, endless supply of Ricola. How are you? How are you keeping?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, not too bad. Can't complain.
That's good.
I haven't been doing much live. I haven't been doing much live Zooms, to be honest.
Yeah.
I definitely do. I do watch, Zooms from the past, shall we say, just because I like them.
Yeah.
I like them. You said something earlier that kind of tweaked me a bit, which was in your own case. I don't know if you were talking about now or in the past or whatever, but if you did a DJ set and you come home and the next day it's like, oh, how was that? I didn't do.
Oh, that's in the past. That's in the past because I used to kind of like, it's almost like it overlooks the joy of doing, of doing what you love. And there's no Emerson, it's just this joy. And then the next day I have to ruin it by thinking like, I think that was a pretty horrible set, and you forget the bliss of it. You know what I'm saying? Because you remember one mistake that you did, or or the tiny thing, or you know what I'm saying. So there, it's overlooked that there's no one doing any of that, the DJing and everything, and it's quite obvious, especially when there is I call it like the trinity of what is, when the music starts, right? No one's dancing yet. And then somehow there's a track that comes in that gets everybody in the dance floor. And then there's no more dancers, there's no more DJ, there's no more music. It's just this singularity that appears, which a lot of DJs really, really kind of like, you know what I'm saying? And so there's this beautiful kind of like, and then there's this seeming kind of like flow of that. until someone requests a song, like, and it kind of like ruins the flow and everything, and then it starts all over again. But what's often overlooked and missed is that there is just this autonomous joy, you know what I'm saying, of whatever seems to appear. So it remembers all of the flaws that happen, which is also it, by the way. Someone DJing requesting a song is also it. Even if it ruins the flow, that's also it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like if you're with a dance partner and there's no longer thinking. It just flows.
Yeah. That's what it is. My sister and I used to dance together, you know what I'm saying? And she was telling me of how she loved that, when we were kids and everything, right? We would, she was tiny and I would just toss her around, like we would copy all of these dancers. And that's what I mean with that play, right? It's just play, it's just joy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
But I did have one other thing.
Sure.
And what if and look, whether conceptually or otherwise, the concepts all make perfect sense, right?
Yeah.
And whether they're conceptually being applied or not, who the heck knows?
Yeah.
So
what's being talked about here will sound like a concept because everything is a concept, but in all honesty, it cannot be conceptualized.
Yeah.
It cannot really be captured as even as a discussion. But yet it appears as this discussion of something that supposedly cannot be expressed, but it's being expressed as this.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Now, I'm just going to throw in a little story there.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, please go ahead.
Really brief. So now, in an instance where, say, you have a neighbor, who's being a bully, shall we say, for want of a better word, and this decides, I don't fancy being bullied, and digs the heels in and pretty much goes at it, hammer on tongs for 5 weeks and just doesn't give in to the BS.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just what's happening.
That's what is as well. You know what I'm saying? That's what is as well. Like, for example, I have a very similar story, right? It's kind of funny because I have not really been angry for a while, right? So even my family was wondering, where's that angry Emerson? So one time someone was bullying my dad. My dad is an elderly man. And then this character just went outside and started screaming at that guy. You don't talk to my dad like that kind of thing. And at the end of it, I smiled at my dad. I'm like, look, I got angry.
Yeah.
But it was no one that, you know what I'm saying? It was just so empty, that anger. So there's no filtering it. So so if there's a character that does not want to be bullied and it's just taking steps not to be bullied, that's also what is.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's it is what it is.
It is what it is, no matter what it is. And that's hard to understand because it does not really require any understanding. No. It does not really require discourse, you know what I'm saying, to see what's happening. Because it just adds another layer of story to a story already. And then it just gets a web of stories that seems to create this contraction, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? It's just a contracted idea of what it is.
Yeah.
No, and it just adds and adds and adds. But when it's seen that that's just perfectly innocent as well, the bullied and and also the getting out of being the bully is also innocence at play.
Yeah. And even now, it can also be associated with a lot more thinking, shall we say?
And
thoughts. I would say thoughts.
Oh yeah.
And but again, that too.
Yeah. It just becomes convoluted when it's just really simply directly already what it is. Yeah. So there's not even a reason to figure out what's happening. Although trying to figure out what's happening is also what is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
cool, man.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Chat later.
Chat later, yeah. Thank you. Bros taking manuka honey and drinking aspartame at the same time. Can you predict who will get confused, or is it harder for some than others? Is there a type? It doesn't really even matter, you know what I'm saying? Um, it's just a story, right? So it's almost like when there is a, you know, a private session, seemingly, it's just basically already speaking to what is already. So what is speaking to what is, no matter what is thinks it is. It's also what is. So it's almost like but in the story, if you want to go, it's not a stupid question, actually. In the story, seemingly characters that have been seeking for a long time seems to be very sticky with a lot of a lot of concepts, right? It could be conceptually thinking that there's no one, conceptually thinking that there's just awareness, conceptually thinking that, you know, so it's stuck in a lot of concepts, so to speak. When there's characters that are seemingly coming out of this fresh curiousness about what is, without a lot of the dogmatic spiritual or even non-duality ideas, then it can simply be clarified of what it is. So the more intoxication, which is a type of people that are in spiritual circles, so to speak, the detoxing is seemingly, you know, equally, you know what I'm saying? Very, very sticky. Yeah. But it's already what is. I wonder if it would work better for some to speak with you while on a psychedelic, so the resistance is down. Um, there are people usually. It's kind of funny, right? Because there's characters that would book and they would admit that they're drunk because they're a little bit afraid of something that already is. It doesn't really matter. That's just another kind of like, you know. But yeah, some people have come in, you know, book in intoxicated states. This is not about intoxication. Even this is more like sobriety.
Where's Lily?
Hello.
Little Lily.
Hello.
Where is she asleep?
Hi, Dr. Leela.
You hear me talking?
Yeah. You were saying, where's Lily? Excuse me. When is the next Dr. Leela episode? Soon. There's a lot of Dr. Leela fans. Soon. And this one's going to be super mind-blowing.
Very soon. Very soon. Hold on to your brains. They're going to come out of your
That's
ears.
right. Yeah, this is going to be nuts. Someone asked before if Dr. Leela would want to do a live one. One day we'll talk about it. Yeah. Everything is a story. But even also getting help is also a story, but it's just also what is, right? So it's yeah, it's not about arriving at something conclusion, because it's all a story and everything is allowed. So this is not a denial or a bypassing of something. It's just what is. So seeking therapy is also what is. Seeking help is also what is. There's nothing wrong or right about that. Someone said, Leela live. Hi, Emerson. Can you do these meetings a couple times a week? Yeah, why not? Why not? Yeah. Why not? Yeah. Is the self-inquiry useful? Um, it's just what is. There's nothing wrong or right about any of any of this. It's just what is. For some characters, it might seem to create this relief. But since there are already no characters, it's already what is. But again, anything, you know what I'm saying? It's always what is. Even that is what is. It's just this openness to what is. There's nothing wrong or right. It's just what is. What prevents this to be seen as what it is? The idea of what it is, the concept of what it is, the intoxication of longing for something to happen next, the um, the concept of a belief of a me. But it's not about dropping. It's not about figuring out. It's not about because it already is. So the cloud of knowing seems to appear as a complete obstruction of what is already. Or the independent or individual ideas of what it is and what it should be. the fullness of understanding, the fullness of whatever seems to appear grasping. The idea of time as reality. But seemingly it appears as all of it. Nothing is excluded. Thank you. Thank you. How can the obstruction stop? Thinking that there's something that needs to stop. The idea that there's something that needs to be attained, to be seen, that something needs to be understood. That very faint belief of a next. That idea that there's something that needs to happen. That longing for something to stop. Because everything is already what it is. There's just seemed to be a delusion that it's not. So to clearly see everything as it is just this openness, this curiousness about what is, not from a place of knowing, not from a place of understanding, but the innocence of it all, the simplicity of what seems to appear, the mystery that does not need to be solved, the unknowable that does not need to be known, the undivided that does not need any divisive idea of what something that's never been divided. The collapse of beliefs and understanding. That idea that there's a false sense of self that will get this. Has Maria stopped seeking I missed her questions in these meetings. Seemingly, yeah. We were talking actually, and she was just sharing some rap songs. So there's a seeming kind of like burst of creative energy when when the seeming seeking just was just very obvious that it was just not necessary. Yeah. Cecilia. Hi, Cecilia.
Hi, Emerson. How are
Hello.
you?
I'm great. Good to see you.
Nice to see you too. I was hesitating and chat about Soma said something about his trauma story.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I hesitated to chat about it, but
Please go ahead. Yeah, yeah.
it's happening, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
I took classes for radical inquiry. I took classes for shadow work.
Yeah.
I took classes, and I can in the story I can keep going.
I did that too. I actually was a teacher that did a lot of shadow work, and thought trauma healing, all that kind of stuff as well. Yeah.
Until I realized I took the classes for me, hoping to help someone.
Likewise, yeah.
Until I realized that you keep digging and digging and digging, and you get nowhere. And they talk about destroying your pillars, bombing. You never end. You can dig and dig and dig and dig and find different traumas and have a great story. But at the end, you cannot find it. You cannot destroy it because it's not there.
Yeah.
It's a story.
Yeah.
It's a thought. I put so much, effort, so excited. I'm going to fix myself.
Yes.
There's no self. Then there is no trauma because it's a story. Thoughts, that it come, and one thought it's gone, and another come, and I go and go and go on, and it's amazing. And I'm not saying it happened, and it is what it is. And if the person who believes has a trauma needs to dig and dig and dig, sometimes it's helpful to have that perception that
there's nothing to dig. Yeah.
There's nothing to do because there's nothing there, plus just story.
Yeah. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. So if seemingly, and there's nothing wrong or right about anything, right? So, but also the clarity is that there's no one to dig. It's just what's happening. So it's all autonomous. Even the longing for healing is all autonomous. You know what I'm saying? It's just innocence at play, so to speak. But from this character, when I used to teach and everything, there was one day that it was really clear that I was just reinforcing trauma over and over again by digging, and I stepped out of it. I'm like, okay, it's re-triggering characters, because I would ask them, what's your deepest pain? So they would dig and dig and dig, and I'll have a room full of people crying, so to speak, and everything. But I was not even an expert at it. I just took it's just so funny when characters take like a workshop, and all of a sudden they're an expert now, and and it's all innocence at play. But yeah, it's just what it is. But thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I see it also as just as it is, whatever it is, right? So, and I used to think that I have so much, you know what I'm saying, trauma, and when I thought that I got rid of them, that's another story. It just becomes another position. But it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? And again, there's nothing wrong or right about anything. It's just what's happening.
Yeah, it's it's something, you know, and when they tell you or you believe, when in this case this character believe, oh, I'm blocking that, I don't remember the memory. Well, it never happened. That's why you can't remember it. It's not yours.
But there could be some, you know, some psychological suffering seemingly that happens when it's believed over and over and over and over again, right? So it just reinforces it over and over again. This character did seek, you know, therapy when I got depressed and everything, because it became really depressed and almost and I was talking to a lot of people lately that a lot of seeming kind of like seeking becomes very psychotic. And so there was therapy that happened, and but yeah, it is what it is, right? It is what it is. It's just going to play out as it is. So if trauma, you know, trying to get rid of trauma happens, also seeing that it's already clear that it is what it is already, that cannot be expressed. That's also what is. It's also what is. It's just whatever it is. But thank you for sharing. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll chat again soon. Thank you, Soma. Yeah, thank you for the comment. How long is this meeting? Usually it's 90 minutes to like 2 hours, depending if there's any questions left. Oh, sorry, it's already been, oh, wow. It's already been 90 minutes? Wow. Okay. We can hang out. If there's no more questions, I guess I'll give it another minute.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to say, I don't know, it gets sparked up with Celia and then Fergie or something. You know, like the me is like so freaking strong all the time. You know, just like the thoughts, like he was saying, your neighbor bully, you know, yeah, maybe you have an issue with somebody and it just builds, you know, it's like da 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 da. And then there's all kinds of like, and this is going back from I don't know how many years, and it still happens. And this one therapist told my friend, "You're just engaging in magical thinking." Yeah, you know, and yeah, like it happens quite a bit. You would call it synchronicity sometimes, or you know, something weird, like things going on, you know, and you're like, oh, geez, you know, brings the me in like strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there was no me
like,
in the
how
first
could that
place.
happen? I know there's no me. I don't no me. But I'm just saying, when things are going on and you're like, that really didn't happen, but you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah.
You don't know what I'm talking about. You have no idea. I you know, I mean, it's like you know, the bird that lands, you know, next to you and just doesn't move or something, and you're like, why is that bird here?
Oh,
you know what I'm
okay.
saying? Or like that this weird thing happened to me in Halloween. It's like, oh shit, who pulled that? You know, like something happens and it's almost like magic. And that brings you right back to you know, me and wanting and like, whoa, it's something, I'm not going to say spiritual, but kind of like magical. Yeah, magical. Yeah. I don't know.
Likewise.
You too?
There's no one knows.
Okay. Shut up. Bye.
Thank you.
Can't close the mic down. It doesn't close.
There's one last question here, I guess. We'll respond. Can trauma digging lead to what is? Nothing leads to what is because it's already what is. Whatever it is what is. Suffering is it. Pain is it. The feeling of lack is it. But there's nothing that is permanent outside of the idea. Everything is already what is. There's no precursor to it. There's no requirement for it. It's like that baby, that the innocent, infant that just looks at everything as it is. It's just this open curiousness, this openness to what is. So it's not about trying to figure out or, inducing it or something, because it already is what it is. But if trying to do something, there's nothing wrong or right about that. That's also what is. But because there's no doer, really, there's no doership. Everything is already autonomous. It is what it is, no matter what it is. So, but yeah. It's so simple, right? That it's not believed that it's just so simple that this is just all autonomously happening, that there's something that needs to be done. There's nothing wrong with doing and everything, but it's just what is. So thank you so much, everyone. It's so great just hanging out. For people that wanted to do a second meeting, yeah, why not? Why not?